Rail. It's easy. Rail.
Rail, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
I was thinking perhaps Rael or something. Rail, rail,
Like
right?
Israel without the is.
Okay, okay, sweet. So we are here today with Lee Rael from The Source, and we are recording this conversation for Coherence 2025. I am very happy that you have agreed to spend a few moments with me to tell me what is it that you are doing and how it plays on the melody that Coherence TV is designing.
Awesome. Awesome. Good to be here.
Good. Lee, tell me about your business, about your project, and how does it relate to the topic of conscious collaboration and wise AI?
Okay. So the driver or the reason why I'm doing my project is narrative change. And I feel like that's a collective effort. It's something that needs to be done in community and together. And so I think there's that aspect to it. You know, bringing together voices from all over the world to bring different messages that are more hopeful, better vision of the world that we're wanting to bring about. And then on the AI side, I do have plans of bringing AI into my platform once I've done the pilot. I need to do the pilot first. So we're about to do the pilot in a few months. Once that's up and running, then I can start looking at AI. So I think there's a lot of benefit to AI in terms of, on my side, what I'm going to be looking at doing is, at this point, is categorization of stories and content, and then matching it to the right audiences so that the right people are seeing the right information, like the people who are best matched for the information.
And I want to do rewind because I know the source already. However, the people who will be watching this, perhaps they may not know yet about what it is that you are doing. So maybe let's tell them just in like few lines what is the source.
Okay, so Source is a regenerative content distribution network. So what that means is that we're going to be taking stories of regeneration and distributing it out to partners, so partner networks, platforms, websites, for a bigger global reach for those stories and content.
You told me last time the mechanisms of how this will actually work. And for those who are interested, there is a website which actually explains everything. It's not a rocket science. It's basically you are becoming like a hub for those stories, right? And they are flowing in through various platforms that are ready. This is the part I'm still getting, not getting. Like, what is actually this engine? Like, I know that you are already building it, right? So basically, are they going to be logging into some dashboard? How does this flow will work technically? Can you explain a little bit?
So say you've got a podcast and your podcast is on any podcast platform, really. It's got an RSS feed. So you would apply to become a content partner with Source, because I have to do some curation of what goes out there. And you would put your RSS feed into our platform. Our platform then reads your RSS feed and pulls all the content in, puts it in the right category, and then pushes it out to the partners. And then the partners on the other side, they have we'll launch with a couple of integration options. One is a proper API. We'll have an API where you can just connect and pull content. We'll have an embed code where you can paste that embed code, and you'll be, as a partner, you'll be able to choose, okay, this is the kind of content I want, this is the topic, this is the from which locations, if you want to, and then you can they'll pull into your embed code and you put that on your platform. And then we'll also be launching with a few plugins, one for WordPress, one for Discord, one for Slack,
All right.
so that you can pull that content into your different communities.
So basically, the creator just does their thing and they are publishing in their channels. And it is the content distributor that will log into the platform to set up their filters and selections of what kind of contents they want to put into their media. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, perfect. I have to ask, as a fellow brand developer, because you also have a branding agency, right?
Yes.
And I want to ask this question that is more on the side of the brand that you are building. I am super curious, what kind of brand values do you want to incorporate in the Source as a brand?
I'm endeavoring to approach everything from a regenerative perspective. So from how I deal with people and partners to how money will get distributed to like the way that things going to get set up. We're going to be giving away half our profits. Like it's really like everything's being, there's like a lot of consciousness and a lot of thought going into the way everything's set up. So for me, it's about regeneration as like the overarching like value, but then within that, there's like I need to look after myself and within that too. So like balance and health and well-being, and kindness and connection and community. Yeah, I think that kind of sums most of it up. Integrity is another one. It's a value of mine.
I know that you also want to give away a lot of profit for creators. So, yeah, what kind of value do you play out here with this one?
Sharing.
It feels generous to me. This is why I thought maybe.
For me, I think generosity for me means that there's it's I'm generous if I own that, but I don't even want to feel like I own it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not giving something away that it wasn't mine to begin with.
All right.
So it's just building it into the fabric of it, that the organism itself, everybody wins is what I'm wanting. So it's
right.
more like a community perspective than me giving myself, you know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, good. Another question that I'm very curious to ask, because you will be filtering out certain content. Not everybody can become creator at the source. So, yeah, how do you want to curate it? Like, what content do you want to include and what definitely you don't want to include? So are there any no-go areas already that you have identified?
So it's, again, it's not all going to come from me. I think there's going to be other people involved in curating. Ideally, there'll be some kind of board that helps with that, so that it's not only my perspective, because it needs to be like shared perspectives on things. And the way I see it working is that there'll be people who are in charge of curating certain areas that they're specialists in. But one of the things we're launching with, for example, is carbon, because it's a market that I've worked in and I know, and I think there are some really good projects there. But for example, there are some projects within the carbon space that, for example, direct air capture. I personally question it, because it's creating a machine that draws carbon out of the atmosphere when trees can do it, when the ocean can do it. There's natural processes that are doing it already. Why do you need to build a machine? It doesn't make sense to me. So I would heavily question those stories around including them. Like, I want to make sure that whatever goes out from our platform is considered and is sending the right message for the right outcomes. And it's very difficult. It's not going to be easy, but all I can say is there can be intentionality behind it.
What I'm hearing here is also perhaps questioning certain narratives that are promoted. Regeneration space is very big. It doesn't mean that everybody who is in this ecosystem is agreeing with one another, right? And I think it is of value to basically do a lot of research and not take things, okay, people are saying it, so let me repeat the same thing because it must be true since many people are saying it, right? And I think creating a space of this kind of courageous conversations where we can actually agree to disagree, and to present alternative views on certain perspective. Do you see Source also as a part of this conversation?
In some sense, we're going to need to be relatively impartial, because we otherwise we're then defining a narrative, and I think that's part of what's wrong in the world, is that there's people controlling the narrative too much. So it's going to be a tricky line to balance. Like, I don't have a solid answer for it yet. What I do know is that once I can move full-time into Source, I want to start my own podcast. And in that, I'll be able to have some of these conversations and poke holes in those concepts and question things. So I would like to play that role, but it will take time to get there.
Amazing. All right, good. That is, I see your point now. Amazing. Good. And okay, I'm only on question number 3, but I'm having fun here, so it's good. Are you also having fun?
Yeah.
I think I will chop this still, and yeah, cut out pieces where I'm like thinking of what should I say next. What is okay? Yeah, concentrate. So, what is the challenge that the greatest challenge that you are facing right now with the Source?
Probably funding. I have to work, as you mentioned, I've got a branding agency. I have to do that to earn money in order to be able to spend as many little hours I can on Source. So if I had more funding, I'd be able to focus more energy on Source, and it would happen quicker. I'd be able to get people into help. I'd be able to the developers who are building are also doing it on an equity basis. So everyone working on it is doing it for free. And so if we had money, and it would go quicker and everything would be done better, because we'd be able to bring in help.
All right, so
that's probably my biggest.
Are you actively searching for funding? You have like an investor pitch deck, and you are going to networking events to actually get money for that? Or how does it work? What's your workflow?
So I have a deck. I've met with many people. I've kind of gone a little quiet on it at the moment. It's just about time. I just, like, here in South Africa, there are very, 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 very few opportunities for something like this to get funded, if any. Like, it's like, so there's no events for me to go to here. But I think someone here would support something like this. So that's a challenge. But I've been doing like one-to-one outreach. Like, everyone in my network who I've known who either could potentially or knows someone, I've reached out to them, and I've kind of exhausted that list. There are probably a couple individuals who I still need to follow up with again, but yeah, I need to get back on the horse with it.
I hear you. Okay, so yeah, it ties to the next question I have. It may, actually. That doesn't have to. What do you hope to get out of the participation in Coherence?
To learn, really, like at the core of it, is just to learn and grow myself and my understanding of things. Hopefully meet some cool people.
All right. Okay. So you don't see how these two are connected?
I don't know if there are potentially people who are there who could fund amazing. I don't know who's going to be attending something like this or involved in Coherence. So
Sure.
I guess there's an opportunity to talk about what I'm doing and promote what I'm doing. So it's networking, which could lead to opportunities. I hadn't thought about it in that sense.
No, that's fair enough. Absolutely. We are all experimenting after all, so nobody knows what we'll get out of
Yeah.
it. But yeah, what I'm actually, I guess, trying to say is that it's always like opening up and talking about what we are doing and what do we need. That leads in the long run to actually getting it, right? So publishing these conversations and talking to people may lead to it. Doesn't have
Yeah.
to, right?
Yeah.
May. Okay. How do you actually understand coherence, and what is it that we are doing here?
So I understand it that it's like a distributed online series of conversations, which then are supported by AI to collate and kind of map and connect and make sense of all the information that's discussed in all these conversations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's more.
And networking and meeting people and collaborating and connecting.
Yeah, that also. I would say there is even more, because basically I think what is important to add here is that it's a base. Right now we are building an MVP, right? So in this particular time, towards the end of June, we just want to publish a certain number of conversations and harvest all the learnings. But in general, we want to build also a piece of software that would plug into different events and also will enable event creators to run their own coherence on different topics, right? So right now we have this topic of wise AI and conscious collaboration, but yeah, tomorrow somebody can start coherence on the topic of regeneration of South African investor community and whatnot, right? So basically, this is also the direction that it's worth noticing.
Okay. Sounds
Sweet.
interesting. Yeah, I didn't. I guess I didn't fully know the scope of where it's going.
Well, it's emerging also, right? So the more we are learning about what it actually what it does to people, right? Because people are telling us when we are having these conversations, the entire field is emergent. So basically, this wasn't like maybe planned in this way when we started to talk about it in March. But now we are, as we are going deeper and wider, seeing that the possibilities are endless. So yeah, it's super cool. And okay, I see that I skipped one question, which I feel like coming back to. It's still about the source. So, what is it that you want to achieve this year?
This year, I
Mm-hmm.
want to run my pilot. So I want to finish the MVP build and then run a pilot to test out two sectors, one in carbon and one in regeneration, and see if this dream of mine actually works.
Okay, all right. So how would the success look like of this launch?
Success would mean so the plan is to onboard 50 content creators and 50 distribution partners, and that the content runs smoothly, and that there's value that's added by our platform, in that those 50 content creators can see a big uptick in consumption of their stories and their media, and maybe even beyond that, that there's connections or uptick in like people coming to them, or yeah, but that the system is adding value to what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. What actually makes me curious also, are there ways to engage with the content that will be published, or is it mostly about consumption?
Great question. At this point, it's about consumption. Yeah.
Hmm?
But you will be able to go to the original, like you'll consume it wherever you are. So whether you're on a Discord channel
Yeah.
or on a website, you'll consume it there, but there will be a reference to where it came from. So you can always go back to the original and engage there. But it's a great thought about down the line, like because I want this to lead to action at the end of the day, not just about passive consumption. Like I want it to lead to action, and so engagement is like the first step there. So I think that's something I need to think more about. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. 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 Hmm. I read on your website that what you want to distribute is regenerative stories. Is that correct? So this is mostly storytelling content, right? Because there are different types of content. And is it that you are betting on stories as such?
Yes. So it could be a podcast, so like an interview. It's a kind of storytelling. It could be a film of some kind. It could be a long form article. It could be yeah, different media types, but it's not about it's more story based.
What occurred to me, I want to share the thought. My head is like super creative and ideas come all the time, so take it or leave it. But it occurred to me that perhaps the inspiration for action and for engagement could be embedded in the content itself, right? So it wouldn't be a function of the user experience of your software, but a creator knowing that they are publishing for the source, they could maybe add some element, like, because this is an article published for the source, you can engage, blah, 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 something like that. I don't know.
I think that it's definitely the right thought. My hope is that that's the kind of content that will emerge, is that content about people doing things and changing things and implementing whatever. And so that serves as inspiration for other people to do the same thing.
Wow, that's actually, yeah, that also makes sense. That the people will somehow feel their own way into using this platform and to making their audiences engaged. Cool. That's a very interesting challenge, definitely. Sweet. And okay, two last questions are about coherence again.
Yeah.
Are there any particular questions that you want to bring to coherence, to the conversations that you will be having with others?
It's something that I'm thinking about for my own project, and I think, and it's about measuring impact and measuring action. Like, how do we know? Because we're all here for similar reasons, in that we're trying to change something, trying to change a narrative, trying to change behavior, trying to bring about a new way of doing things. How do we measure that we're actually on the right track? How do we measure that we're doing the right thing? How do we measure that what we're doing is actually making a difference and heading us in the right path? Because from my perspective, if I'm just putting more content out there and it's not actually doing anything, I'm just creating more noise.
Yeah.
And it's not actually having any effect, which is not what I want.
I love this question. I love this question, and I feel like connecting you with actually one person from South Africa. Have you come across Michael Haupt?
I have interacted with him on LinkedIn, but I haven't met him. No.
All right. He's working on this very subject matter with one community that he's supporting very organically of 25,000 people. I forgot it's Valley of something, and it's not far from Cape Town. I think that he would have a lot to say on that matter. He comes from a big corporate world and now working with on grounds regeneration of communities, particular of this community. And
maybe, sorry, I actually maybe did have a meeting with him. Let me just quickly see if it is. Did I meet with him? I don't know. I might have. Anyway,
I will send him our video. Regards, Michael. You should talk to Lee. Lee has some great idea.
awesome.
Sweet. All right, and the last question. Checking the list of the projects that are signed up for Coherence. Are there any particular projects that you would like to connect with that we could matchmake you with?
For now, for me, the one that jumps out is the spatial network.
Okay. Good. Maybe a few words why?
It looks interesting. I think they're, for me, the one that's most focused on regeneration. And so, and I feel like there might be a way of us working together. Yeah.
Cool. Then let me connect you with Arya, and